Hi, this is Rachel Israel with STEM News and Global World Report. We have breaking news that will have a huge impact on the global scene in the very near future. Let's take a look at what's going on around the world.
Vladimir Putin, the enigmatic leader of Russia, has long held a skeptical view of the United States. This skepticism deepened during the presidency of Donald Trump, a period marked by political polarization and global uncertainty. Putin, a shrewd observer of international affairs, saw in Trump's America a nation in decline, its internal divisions fueling a larger narrative of waning global influence. This perception, shaped by both Trump's actions and Putin's own worldview, has significant implications for understanding the complex dynamics between the two superpowers. Putin's assessment of America's decline is not merely an academic exercise, it forms the basis of his strategic calculations, influencing his decisions on the world stage. From Ukraine to Syria, Putin has acted assertively, seemingly emboldened by his perception of American weakness. His actions, often met with consternation in the West, are best understood through the lens of his own worldview, one shaped by a deep-seated belief in American decline. This essay will delve into Putin's perspective on America under Trump, exploring the factors that have contributed to his perception of American decline. It will examine Putin's views on Trump's political decisions, his economic policies, and their impact on the global balance of power. Finally, it will consider the potential outcomes of Putin's worldview, including the possibility of a new Yalta Conference that could reshape the geopolitical landscape. Putin's view of Trump's America was shaped by a number of factors, both internal and external to the United States. Domestically, Putin witnessed the deep political divisions that characterized the Trump era, with society increasingly polarized along ideological lines. This internal strife, Putin believed, weakened America's ability to project power abroad and undermined its standing as a global leader. Trump's foreign policy decisions further reinforced Putin's perception of American decline. The withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade agreement designed to counter China's growing influence, was seen as a sign of American retrenchment from the world stage. Similarly, Trump's skepticism of NATO and his calls for European allies to shoulder a greater share of the defense burden signaled a shift away from the traditional post-war order, one in which the United States played a leading role. Moreover, Putin observed Trump's seemingly amicable relationship with him as a sign of weakness. Trump's public praise for Putin, coupled with his reluctance to criticize Russia's actions on the world stage, fueled a narrative in Moscow that America was no longer willing to confront its rivals. This perception emboldened Putin, allowing him to pursue a more assertive foreign policy without fear of significant repercussions from Washington.
Join me as I dive into the mind of Putin and try to figure out what he really thinks about America under Trump. The topic of Putin's perspective on America during Trump's presidency is a critical and timely issue to explore. As the world watched the tumultuous relationship between the two leaders unfold, many of us wondered what was really going on behind the scenes. The complexities of U.S.-Russia relations during Trump's time in office were multifaceted, to say the least. On the surface, it seemed like a game of cat and mouse, with both leaders taking turns making bold statements and accusations. But beneath the rhetoric, there were real challenges and misunderstandings that threatened to upend the fragile balance of power between the two nations. One of the most significant challenges was the ongoing investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Trump's frequent denials and pushback against the probe only added fuel to the fire, leading many to wonder if he was compromised or simply trying to cover his tracks. At the same time, Putin was facing his own set of challenges, from economic sanctions to diplomatic fallout from the Skripal poisoning incident. Despite these obstacles, he remained defiant, insisting that Russia was a sovereign nation that wouldn't be pushed around by the West. Through it all, the relationship between Trump and Putin was a wild card, with some hailing their budding bromance as a sign of a new era of cooperation, while others saw it as a dangerous flirtation with a KGB hardliner. As the Trump presidency wore on, it became clear that Putin was playing a long game, using every tool at his disposal to advance Russian interests and undermine those of the United States. Whether it was meddling in elections, arming insurgents, or making strategic military deployments, Putin was always thinking several steps ahead of his American counterpart. And yet, despite his cunning, Putin remained an enigma, a master strategist whose true intentions were impossible to pin down. Delving deeper into the statements and actions of both Trump and Putin reveals a fascinating dynamic at play. Take, for example, Trump's infamous Helsinki press conference, where he appeared to side with Putin over his own intelligence agencies on the issue of Russian interference. To many, it was a stunning betrayal, but to others, it was simply a clever ploy to outmaneuver the Democrats and deflect attention from his own troubles. Meanwhile, Putin was busy making his own moves, from hosting lavish summits to dangling the prospect of nuclear arms reductions. But behind the scenes, Putin was likely thinking something very different. One need look no further than his now infamous Putin's Patriot speech, in which he praised Trump's unpredictability and claimed that the American president was simply trying to restore his country's lost greatness. It was a stunning display of psychological manipulation, with Putin using flattery and feigned admiration to get inside Trump's head. And it worked. Trump was thrilled, taking to Twitter to gush about his new BFF in Moscow. However, a pivotal moment that encapsulates Putin's true feelings about Trump's America came during the 2020 Munich Security Conference. Speaking before a packed auditorium of world leaders, Putin delivered a scathing critique of Western democracies, accusing them of being weak and divided in the face of Russian strength. It was a calculated slight, aimed directly at Trump and his administration, which Putin saw as feckless and incompetent. And yet, behind the anger and bluster, one senses a deeper frustration, a sense that Putin had invested so much in Trump, only to be disappointed by his inability to deliver on promised concessions. Perhaps the most telling aspect of Putin's remarks was his reference to the end of the American era. It was a stunning admission, one that spoke to Putin's deep-seated disdain for American exceptionalism and his desire to supplant the United States as the world's dominant power. And in Trump, Putin saw a willing accomplice, someone who would help him achieve his goals through sheer ignorance or malice. In the end, Putin's views on Trump's America are complex and multifaceted, reflecting a deep ambivalence towards the United States and its leadership. On the one hand, he sees America as a flawed and fading power, ripe for exploitation by a cunning and resourceful Russia. On the other hand, he is drawn to Trump's unpredictability and willingness to challenge the status quo, sensing an opportunity to remake the global order in his own image. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on Putin's perspective on Trump's America in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos exploring the fascinating world of international relations.
Well, that's the news for tonight. Thank you so much for continually supporting our content. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and share this with your friends and family. I'm sure they would find it interesting as well. We're very excited to continue this journey with you. We thank you all for bringing certain stories to our attention, and for continually keeping us updated with certain events around the world.